Hello, and welcome to Budget Commander. On this channel, we'll discuss Magic the Gathering topics with a focus on playing Commander on a budget. We'll cover things like deck building, top cards, deck techs, and more. Let's get started. Hey friends, today in Commander Shootout we have Varina the Lich Queen versus Marisi, Breaker of Coils. This is a tribal showdown. Episode 4 of Season 1 is going to be a zombie tribal deck. So we have Varina the Lich Queen. She wants to just fill the board with lots of zombies, drain out her opponents, and win through cycling to the best cards in her deck. And then she's gonna be combating against Marisi, Breaker of the Coil. This deck, the goal is to goad his opponents, so force his opponent's creatures to attack, and then hopefully he, I guess in this one-on-one situation, can get some beneficial blocks. Usually goad you want in a bigger setting, more of a multiplayer game. So not as suited well to him, but we'll see how it goes. Marisi's going to start us off by playing a Plains, and then passing the turn to Varina, who plays Dismal Backwater, which enters tapped, gains her life, and can tap for a blue or a black. Passing the turn to Marisi, who plays a Forest, and then taps both of his lands for a Talisman of Conviction, a 2-to-cast artifact that taps for colorless. You can also tap for a red-white at the cost of 1 life. Marisi then passes to Varina, who plays Forsaken Sanctuary, a card that comes in tapped and adds white-black. Varina's going to then pass to Marisi, who plays Krosan Verge, which enters tapped and can tap for a colorless, but can also pay 2 to sacrifice it and put a forest and a plains onto the battlefield tapped. Then Marisi is going to pay 3, triggering the Talisman of Conviction, dealing 1 damage to himself to cast Skyhunter Skirmisher, a 1/1 flyer with double strike. Varina is going to untap and play a Swamp and pass the turn to Marisi, who untaps and then activates the Krosan Verge, getting a swamp or a forest and a plains to the battlefield tapped. And then he's going to play Naya Panorama, which can tap for a colorless, but also you can pay 1 to sacrifice it and get a mountain, forest, or plains from your library to the battlefield tapped, which Marisi will activate right away using the Talisman of Conviction for the mana and putting a mountain onto the battlefield tapped. At the end of turn, Varina is going to cast Esper Charm, and choose the 3rd mode, forcing Marisi to discard 2 cards from his hand. Then Varina is going to untap and play Esper Panorama, which is the same as Naya Panorama, with the exception that it gets a plains, island, or swamp. And then for 4, cast Liliana's Reaver, a 4/3 with Death Touch that says whenever Liliana's Reaver deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card and you put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped. Varina is going to pass to Marisi, who untaps and casts Gruul War Chant, a enchantment that gives all attacking creatures +1/+0, and Menace. And then we'll go to combat and swing with his double striking 2/1 flyer, dealing 4 damage, bringing Varina's life total down to 35. Marisi passes the turn to Varina, who then plays Exotic Orchard, and then casts Undead Augur, a 2/2 zombie wizard that says whenever Undead Augur or another zombie you control dies, you can draw a card and lose 1 life. Varina then goes to combat, attacking Marisi with Liliana's Reaver. And Marisi goes down to 35, and Liliana's Reaver triggers, forcing Marisi to discard the last card in his hand and giving Varina a 2/2 zombie tapped black zombie token creature. Varina then passes to Marisi, who goes to combat, swings with, again, the 2/1 double striking flyer, bringing Varina's life total down to 31. And then second main plays a Rogue's Passage and casts Jazal Goldmane, Sorry, I thought that had reduced his life or his hand total to 0, but still had this one last card. This is the last card that was in Marisi's hand at this time. Jazal Goldmane is a 4/4 for 4 that has first strike and the activated ability pay 5, and attacking creatures you control get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of attacking creatures. Great way to pump his team. Currently it'd be +2/+2. And then passes, but before the end of turn, Varina mortifies the Jazal Goldmane, destroying it, sending Jazal to the graveyard. Varina untaps and then brings herself onto the battlefield and then attacks with all of her unsummoning sickness zombies, giving her 3 new cards to hand, discarding 3 cards, and gaining 3 life. Marisi's life total then goes down to 27, and Liliana's Reaver gets a new black 2/2 zombie creature token tapped to the battlefield. Varina then passes the turn. Marisi draws and plays a Blighted Woodland, activates the woodland to get a couple new lands to the battlefield, and goes to combat, swinging with the Sky Hunting Skirmisher. No blocks are declared, bringing Varina's life total down to 30. Then Varina untaps and casts Liliana's Mastery, giving all the zombies +1/+1, and creating 2 new 2/2 black zombie creature tokens for Varina. Then she'll go to combat and swing with all of her creatures that don't have Summoning Sickness, triggering herself, so she'll draw 5 cards, discard 5 cards, and gain 5 life. Then Marisi's life total will go down to 8, and he'll gain 5 commander damage. Liliana's Reaver will trigger, getting another 2/2 black zombie creature token. And then second main, Varina will play a swamp and pass the turn. Marisi then brings himself onto the battlefield and then casts an Adorned Pouncer and passes the turn, which then Varina goes straight to combat, swings with Liliana's Reaver and all of the zombie tokens, triggering Varina herself, so she'll draw 6 cards, discard 6 cards, gain 6 life, bringing her life total up to 41. Marisi declares blocks as such. Liliana's Reaver is going to eat the Adorned Pouncer, and then we'll see the zombie token eat the Sky Hunter Skirmisher, and we'll see Marisi, Breaker of the Coil, eat a zombie token, and then the remaining zombies will deal 9 damage because of Liliana's Mastery, reducing Marisi's life total to -1. Highlights from this game: Marisi had a rough go at it, still was able to utilize the mana pretty well, even though he didn't get he had to discard 3 cards or 4 cards from Varina's Esper Charm and Liliana's Reaver, which was pretty brutal. Hard to come back from that, especially if you're top decking. Marisi's deck is really more geared towards multiplayer setting, but the Sky Hunter Skirmisher, along with the Gruul Warchant, did quite a bit of damage. Swinging for 4 early, double strike style is pretty cool. Varina, though, cycled so many cards, something like 15 cards using her ability, and the Esper Charm and Liliana's Reaver were just super brutal. So those were the highlights on her side of the table. Standings after match 4 of round 1, we see Varina move on to the next round. Check in next week, every Friday for new videos. The next shootout will be Momir Vig versus Atla Polani, so we'll have that in a little bit. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you next time. Peace! Thanks for watching. You can help support this channel by hitting that subscribe button. This will help keep you up to date on content from Budget Commander. If you liked the video, make sure you like the video. Leave me a comment with your thoughts on this topic. And if you think someone else could benefit from this video, feel free to share. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk with you next time.